What's up YouTube, it's SwimJigJOe here with you again on the third video of building your own custom fishing rod. Today we're going to be installing the eyelets down the shaft of this rod. And I went ahead and I did some steps off camera. I went through and I made marks on every increment of where a line guide is going to be. There is a reference guide on the back of the package. Let's see if you can see that. From the tip to the butt where these need to be lined up. So we just went ahead and we marked all the way down the shaft where these guides are going to fall in. The only thing you have to pay attention to is where your marks are is not where you're going to be tying the line guide on, but where the actual circle of the line guide is going to set. So in this particular case, my line is right here. We're going to line that up as close as we can with that line, and then we marked the spine so that I know where this one has to sit on the shaft to be wrapped. The first step in all of this, well, is obviously marking out where the line guides are going to go. Mud will send you a tape measure with you with the kit. I've scotch taped it or masking taped it to the table, since this isn't my table and I'm going to have to give it back soon. But anyways, we went through, we marked all that out, and then we've got the hand threading system set up. I chose yellow for no particular reason, just as an accent color to blue, I guess. And we went ahead and we put our thread on the hand threader and routed our thread where we wanted it, through the eyelets, through the hooks. Now, according to the instruction booklet, when you are threading this, the tension rod should be pointing directly at you. It shouldn't be too far over. It shouldn't be straight up. So when you start twisting your thread on, you're going to have to adjust the tension on your wing nut to get proper tension. Okay, I think we're ready to get started. First thing they want you to do is to inspect your guides and make sure that there aren't any burrs on the bottom. So run your finger across it, make sure it's nice and smooth. If there are any burrs, you'll have to get yourself a file. It doesn't come with the kit, or anything that's abrasive that you can sand down any burrs on it. This one is a little rough, so we're going to sand it down just a little bit. Make sure everything's good there. The other thing you want to do is you also want to sand the top, where the opposite side of where it is going to be touching the shaft. That way you have a nice clean transition from thread into eyelet. The better the transition, the smoother the transition, we'll say, the better it's going to sit flush to the rod and perform the way that it's supposed to. So, I think I about got this one with a little burr on the one side. And I think we got her. Okay. One little tiny burr on the tip, which is going to be probably the most critical spot, since that's where we're going to be winding first. Well, this is not as easy as I thought it was going to be. Okay, I say we're pretty good. And what I'm going to do now is take this 1/4" masking tape and I'm going to use it to hold the guide in place. And then we'll start winding. Oops. Remember, set that in the spinning, on a spinning rod. You want to set it right on the spine and then the casting opposite of the line that you marked. And then we'll just tape this in place. The adhesive is not the greatest on this tape, but that should be good enough to get the wrapping going. So we're going to slide this in place here. Now it shows your how to wrap guide will be right in front of you if you put it into your hand wrapping system, and it's going to show you from the spool. I actually wish this was going the other way. We're gonna turn this around real quick. Lock this in place with the, they look like hair ties to me. Alright, just because the reference guide is showing the guide facing this way, so it's easier for a visual. And I want you to go over once. We're going to go twice. And then it looks like well, as you can see, my tension isn't correct because it's not bending that tension rod down enough. And once you get it wrapped a few times, you can go ahead. You want to make sure everything's nice and straight. And that is what this yellow tool is for, is we're pushing everything nice and tight. And once you get 3 or 4 wraps, you can go ahead and clip. See, I did something wrong here, so we're going to have to start over. I'll just go back a few, I guess. Right there is where we want to be. So we're going to cut this tag end off now that it's locked in under it. And we're going to start wrapping. You can see our tension rod's bent up a little bit more than we want it to be. We're going to loosen this up a little bit. Now, if you can see this, I know the GoPro is not the greatest thing in the world. We're shooting close-up video. There's a little bit of a gap, so I'm just going to take this and push that over to close that gap. Just like that. There's a little bit of a gap on the back side here as well. We're going to close that up as we go along, and I'm going to keep spinning. Now it should be safe to take this masking tape off because we've got, as you can see, a good 1/4 of an inch being held down by the thread. Be careful not to damage your shaft when you do this. It'll probably be a lot harder once we get into the smaller ones. Now let's just keep rolling. Okay, and we're nearing the end now. And what I did, I had it sitting right here. Here it is. I cut a little string, about 8 inches, 10 inches long. And when we get to the end here, we're supposed to, we got about 3 or 4 loops left. You lay this across, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right behind the line guide, and then we're going to roll over it 3 or 4 times. And I'll show you what it's used for in just a second. Make sure that you do run over it. And what this is going to do is this is going to pull this string back through so that we can it's going to create a knot. Or not a knot, but it's going to pull our tag end through with some tension on it. About 2 or 3 more times, and then we're going to be right at the max. One more, good measure. Okay, so now we're getting to where that line guide is. The thread's starting to climb the line guide. So what we're going to do now, we're going to back off a little bit. Not much. We're going to cut this. Whoop. And that loop that we created, we're going to send this through the loop, our tag end. Oops. Don't forget to keep tension on it. I just screwed up and did not. And then we're going to take the 2 ends, we're going to pull that through. And right there, we'll fix our ends here, get all those gaps out to make it look nice and flush and straight. And then you can use the rounded end where you see these small gaps that are still, and you can push down and it should fill those in because it's going to flatten the thread out in those areas. And that's it, guys. We're going to take a razor blade, we're going to cut this end off of here. Don't use the snippers that they give you because you want to get this as close as you possibly can. Get the razor blade out here. Now it says do not use a sawing action. So what I'm going to do is set this razor blade right in behind that and then pull. That's it. And then we'll continue down. We'll do all the guides. And then move on to finishing. We finished the guides. Turned out pretty good. I gotta tell you, it gets a lot harder as it gets to the tip, being that there's a smaller diameter rod to work with. Next we're going to put the tip on, and the tip is super easy actually. All we have to do for the tip is cut off a little sliver of the adhesive. This is not going to be easy to get on camera. I'm going to have to turn the camera a little bit. Here's our tip adhesive. Find my razor blade that's already open. Here it is. And hopefully I'm getting a good shot because I don't have it hooked up to my phone anymore. And it says to just cut off a nice little sliver. Wasn't a very good sliver, but let's see if it can fit into this rod tip. And just insert it into the tip. Although it's not going in as easy as it should, in my opinion. don't know how they expect. Let's try these scissors. Maybe we can get some. Nope, not even that. That doesn't want to cut either. We'll get a couple. Let's see what we can get down into this rod tip. What do I glue? I'm just going to insert this if we can get it into the tip. That one slid in there. I'm going to put a few in there just to make sure it's full and get a good set onto the tip. Just cut this in half. There we go. That'll go down there easy. Slide that in there. Now you don't got to put a ton because once you slide the shaft of the rod into the tip, it's going to push a lot of that glue out anyways. So I'll put one more little piece in there, and I'll show you what we're going to do with this. It says we need pliers to hold on to the tip. I'm going to try to do it without pliers. I think we got enough glue here. So we're going to take our alcohol burner that I've already filled with alcohol. See if I turn this towards the camera to make it a little easier. I think it will. Alright, so we're going to take our alcohol burner. Grab the lighter over here. Set that on fire. Hopefully you can see that. I think I'm going to cheat. Oh, I messed my scissors up cutting that. So. That's a bummer. There we go. Now they're working well. Now it says to take this and pass it over the alcohol burner. Just enough to heat that glue up. There you can see the glue's boiling. It has liquefied, maybe a little bit more. And then just slide it over the tip all the way down to a complete 360 and then line it up with your other guides. And that's it. And probably the easiest process. That's it for gluing the rod tip on. I'm not a fan of the rod tip they sent with it because it's not the exact diameter of the rod, but should do us well. And that's it for this video. Next we're going to be putting a couple decals on. I do have to still put the keeper on, the hook keeper on. I'll do that off camera. I'm pretty sure all we got to do after that, let me check our rod building guide here. But yeah, I think we just have to put our epoxy on all of our thread. Some decals. I don't have anything special, just the action, the rod action, and the power that comes with all your MHX rods. Yeah, and then we're going to be epoxying this and letting it dry and then hitting the water. So stay tuned and we'll finish this thing.